with that, we're getting ready to go into our first game of the day. It will be on Shattered Temple. Once again, Rhett versus LoWeLy, a ZVZ. Now, Andre, do you have any predictions going into this match?
I have to give the Team Liquid All-Star the props. I think he's been playing really well, taking out Thorzane last week. Of course, that's when Thorzane smashed everybody at DreamHack.
And yeah, took the win.
But that would be, or that was an awesome series, in my opinion, even though, well, it was a Kingston Hyper.
Was it the Kingston Hyper match to remember?
It was.
Yeah, for those of you who don't remember, last time Rhett was on this map, he droned heavily and then base traded with Thorzane. Ended up taking the win for game number 3, but this is an entirely different matchup. Rhett ZVZ is very, very strong. It's overall at almost 60%. LoWeLy struggling around 48%. But yeah, I mean, Rhett's the favorite to this, and I had to take him because as much as, you know, if you underestimate LoWeLy, sometimes he can show you gems. He beat Select the other week when we thought he wouldn't. But I got to go with Rhett as well for this series.
He's just the favorite whenever you go into any match. There's very few people in the world that you can put Rhett up against and say, oh yeah, Rhett's going to lose that for sure. It's very hard to bet against him.
He always has a chance.
Exactly. Well, look what we have here, a 12 spawning pool going down for LoWeLy. And Rhett is a player that loves to 15 hatch. We see him play macro styles generally. And what do we have, Frodan?
Well, he's pooling a lot of minerals, and the way he's saving it up could indeed be for hatchery, but he also has his scouting overlords aware of LoWeLy's scouting positions, or starting positions rather, because it is Shattered Temple. For those of you who may and may not know, you can't spawn close positions by ground. So as soon as Rhett and LoWeLy scouted with their overlords and saw no creep, they started heading towards the opposite side of the map, and that's actually really important as well, because in ZVZ, we've been seeing a lot of Zergs not sending any early scouts, and knowing what your opponent is a big factor when choosing your builds.
Now I'm kind of interested why LoWeLy went for the 12 pool of all openings, because I feel like 10 pool is just significantly stronger against this style. Now 12 pool does kind of gear you up to be a little bit more macro based, but if you're planning on busting a 15 hatch, which normally if you're going a super early pool before 14, you're saying to yourself, I want to bust a hatchery early in the game, then I feel like 10 pool is the way to go. This leaves more room for Rhett to actually get more units up.
Yeah, just gives him more time.
Yeah, and I just feel it's super unnecessary. And I think LoWeLy, I mean, he will have to do a lot of damage. There it is, the Baneling Nest gets plopped down there. So I guess it is, it makes sense for the Baneling Nest, and now that I think of it, because he wants to have a little bit more drones to get those extra drones on gas, and then from that, he's looking pretty strong with the super early Banelings.
First Zerglings are harassing the drones. Rhett doing a good job microing them, making sure they can't really kill off any of his economy. Rhett also probably senses something. He says, okay, well, Zerglings this early, he had to go for some kind of pool. And of course, his Overlord sees no attempt at a hatchery. So LoWeLy has his baiting nest about to finish. Now, it's going to be a couple interesting things, because LoWeLy, he kept 3 drones on gas. We see some Zergs pull maybe 1 drone, because you don't need that many Banelings, maybe 2, 3. But we've seen also some players like Targa make like 8 Banelings in an attempt to Baneling bust. So LoWeLy, he's going to stick with 4. He's got 2 by the gold and 2 in the middle of the map. Some
important things Rhett needs to do is make additional queens. I think that's a pretty big priority. Now, can he actually target down? Ooh, the Banelings go for that spine crawl. He cancels it. Nice cancel.
Yeah, that was a really good job there. And LoWeLy just traded 2 Banelings for just a stall on the spine crawler. Rhett pulling even 1 drone for the battle. He has to really avoid those Banes at all costs and protect the ramp. The Queen kind of gets surrounded there by the Zerglings, which could be a very big kill. Rhett doesn't have enough energy for Transfuse, and the 2 Banelings are now in, joined by 3 other. Rhett's going to be under a lot of pressure. His Bane nest also finishes, but his Baneling won't finish in time to combat his opponents.
He needs to spread those. Oh, he's actually... 4 drones for 2 Banelings. It's okay. There's only 1 Baneling left.
Oh, man.
It makes a lot of those drones red, but Rhett has a Baneling for himself. He doesn't have metabolic boost, so that is pretty tough. Doesn't have enough gas at this point. And look at this, LoWeLy being very intelligent, using his Zerglings to pick off the weakened drones from that initial Baneling.
Very good.
I really like what we're seeing, and more Banelings down at the bottom. Rhett might not be able to hold there.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about this with Rodert and Mr. Bit earlier today, how speeding control is so key in TVZ, and LoWeLy showing picking off the weakened drones is very key. But Rhett could also trade 2 Banelings very cost efficiently, but he doesn't get it. He only puts 1 for 1. Oh, but does he? Yes! 1 Baneling trades for 4 there after softening up with the other one. So Rhett doing a good job, but still, he's under heavy fire there. Rhett doesn't have a follow-up after that. And GG.
Metabolic Boost not out on the field. Actually, those first 2 Zerglings actually did a lot more damage than I thought they would have. It stopped Rhett from mining gas, and because of that, he actually was not able to start Metabolic Boost. And when your opponent has a Metabolic Boost timing for so long over you, it's really hard to actually stabilize on a map like Shattered Temple. Yeah,
it's really tough for Rhett to hold from that position. He did the best he could, I guess, in that scenario, but LoWeLy was able to connect where it mattered most. Guys, that was a very quick game number 1, but we want to thank Epson, the sponsor of that game. Go to Epson.com to get your own projector from home theater and audio needs. We'll be back with after a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Game number 2 between Rhett and LoWeLy is coming up soon.